The USS Venture cruised silently through the void of space, its massive engines propelling it toward the Alpha Centauri system. Earth's first true interstellar vessel represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a testament to humanity's relentless drive to explore the unknown. Commander Ethan Reeves stood on the observation deck, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he stared out at the distant stars. The former Marine from rural Montana never imagined he would be leading humanity's first diplomatic mission to meet alien life. The responsibility weighed heavily on his broad shoulders. "Commander, we're detecting an unidentified object approaching from the third planet," said Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, her voice calm but tinged with excitement. "It's definitely not natural. Motion patterns suggest artificial propulsion." Ethan's pulse quickened. "Alert the crew. Defensive posture, but weapons remain offline. Let's not make our first impression a hostile one." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as the crew prepared for first contact. Minutes stretched into hours as the alien vessel drew closer. It was beautiful, a pearlescent spiral structure that seemed to flow rather than fly through space. "They're hailing us," Olivia reported, her fingers dancing across the communications panel. "I think I can configure our systems to interpret their signals." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a slender, almost delicate creature with pale blue skin and large, multifaceted eyes. It had 4 arms and a crest of what looked like feathers adorning its head. "Greetings, vessel from Sol 3, the alien said, its words translated through the ship's computer. "I am Ambassador Zivtal of the Galthori Confederation." Ethan stepped forward. "I am Commander Ethan Reeves of the United Earth Alliance vessel Venture. We come in peace from Earth." The alien's eyes widened, its feathery crest standing on end. "Earth? You mean Deathworld 9? Ethan exchanged confused glances with his science officer, Diane Foster. "I'm not familiar with that designation," he replied cautiously. "Fascinating," Zivtal whispered, turning to speak rapidly with unseen companions off-screen. When the ambassador faced them again, its posture had changed, more rigid, more cautious. "We would be honored to welcome representatives from Earth aboard our station for diplomatic discussions. This is a historic moment for our Confederation." 2 days later, Ethan led a small team through the docking tube connecting the Venture to the Galthori ship. Beside him walked Olivia, engineer Kevin Wright, and Diane. They had practiced the greeting protocols extensively, but nothing could have prepared them for what happened next. As Zivtal extended a slender hand with 6 delicate fingers, Ethan reached out and gently, very gently, shook it. The alien ambassador immediately paled to an ashen color and swayed, nearly collapsing. "Ambassador!" Ethan exclaimed, reaching out to steady the alien but stopping when other Galthori drew back in apparent fear. "Forgive me," Zivtal said, regaining composure with visible effort. "I was unprepared for the density of your physiology. We knew Deathworlders would be robust, but experiencing it firsthand is quite different." "Deathworlders?" Diane asked, her scientific curiosity piqued. Zivtal gestured for them to follow. "Please come. There is much to discuss." As they walked through pearlescent corridors, Ethan noticed how the aliens kept a careful distance. Other Galthori they passed stopped to stare, their crest feathers rising in what seemed like alarm. "They're afraid of us," Olivia whispered to Ethan, "but why?" The diplomatic chamber was furnished with cushioned platforms that seemed too delicate for human weight. Ethan sat carefully, feeling the material strain beneath him. "The Galthori Confederation consists of 27 species from 18 star systems," Zivtal explained. "Yet in all our exploration, we have documented only 12 planets classified as death worlds, environments so harsh that the evolution of sentient life was considered nearly impossible. Earth is classified as level 9, and that means," Ethan prompted. "It means," Zivtal said with a mixture of fear and awe, "that you humans are something our scientists thought couldn't exist. Intelligent apex predators evolved in conditions that would kill most species in our confederation within minutes." Olivia leaned forward. "You're saying you're afraid of us because our planet is dangerous?" The alien ambassador's feathers flattened in what might have been embarrassment. Not just dangerous, Lieutenant Martinez. By our standards, Earth is a nightmare world of crushing gravity, toxic atmosphere, extreme temperature variations, and lethal predators. And yet here you stand, representatives of a species that not only survived, but thrived in such conditions. Ethan felt the weight of this revelation. They had come seeking new friends among the stars. Instead, they had found a galactic community that viewed them as monsters forged in hell. Well, he said with a slight smile, this complicates things. The Galthori space station was a marvel of alien engineering. Giant rings rotated slowly around a central hub, creating artificial gravity that felt too light to the human visitors. Ethan and his team from the USS Venture followed Ambassador Zivtal through curved hallways lined with strange plants that seemed to glow with inner light. Please be careful, Zivtal said, noticing how Kevin almost brushed against one of the plants. Your skin oils could harm our oxygen producers. Sorry, Kevin said, keeping his hands close to his body. The engineer had already broken 2 tools that morning, not used to how fragile everything was. They entered a large room with a round table surrounded by seats of different shapes and sizes. Other aliens waited there, each one different from the Galthori. Some had scales, others fur, and one looked like a floating ball of gas inside a clear container. The Council of Species welcomes the representatives of Earth, said a tall, reed-thin alien with skin like polished copper. I am Senior Counselor Pelnara. We are eager to learn about your world, though we must admit we are concerned. Ethan sat down carefully in the chair provided for him, feeling it bend under his weight. Concerned about what? Your classification, Pelnara replied. Please observe. A hologram appeared in the center of the table, showing a galaxy map with colored dots marking different planets. This is our rating system for habitable worlds, explained Zivtal. Levels 1 through 3 are paradise worlds, perfect conditions, minimal threats, abundant resources. Most council species evolved on these worlds. The map zoomed in, showing more details. Levels 4 through 6 are challenging worlds. Higher gravity, more extreme weather, some dangerous life forms. Only 3 council species come from these worlds. Diane leaned forward, fascinated. And Earth? Earth is a level 9 death world, said Pelnara with something like fear in his voice. Almost 3 times the gravity of paradise worlds. Oxygen levels that would cause toxic reactions in most species. Temperature variations that span over 100 degrees. Constant natural disasters. And the predators? He shuddered visibly. Your planet has creatures that eat other creatures alive, added another counselor, this one with long tentacles instead of arms, including large apex predators that could hunt sentient beings. Olivia frowned. But many species on Earth are herbivores. We have peaceful animals too. Even your herbivores are terrifying, said Zivtal. We've studied your cows and horses, massive beasts that could trample most council members with ease. Ethan tried to hide his smile. They're generally very gentle. And yet your species not only survived but thrived in such conditions, said Pelnara. It shaped you into... He gestured at Ethan's muscular build. Into what? Ethan asked, feeling suddenly self-conscious. Physical gods by our standards, replied Zivtal. Your bones are dense as stone. Your muscles can exert forces that would tear most of us apart. Your reaction speed, endurance, damage resistance all evolved to survive in a nightmare world. Diane, always the diplomat, tried to ease the tension. We're just people. We never thought of ourselves as particularly strong. Allow me to demonstrate, said Pelnara. He placed a metal rod on the table. This is standard construction material for space stations. Please, Commander Reeves, try to bend it. Ethan picked up the rod, expecting it to be tough. Instead, it bent easily in his hands like soft plastic. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break it, the council members murmured among themselves. Some moved their seats back slightly. That material can withstand the vacuum of space and temperature. Extremes from near absolute zero to solar flare heat, Zivtal explained, and you bent it like it was nothing. As if on cue, Kevin shifted in his seat and one of the armrests snapped off. Sorry about that. News of the Deathworlders spread quickly through the station. Wherever the humans went, aliens stopped to stare or hurried away. Some brave ones approached with questions, treating them like exotic animals in a zoo. Can you really drink water that contains hydrogen? Asked one small, furry alien. All water contains hydrogen, replied Diane, trying not to laugh. And you breathe oxygen, the corrosive gas? Asked another. That evening, back in their assigned quarters, the team discussed their situation. They're afraid of us, said Olivia. But they also need us for something. Did you notice how they keep asking about our military capabilities? Ethan nodded. Something's happening out there. And suddenly, being scary Deathworlders might be our biggest advantage. 1 month later, a small Galthori ship landed at the newly built alien reception facility in Colorado. Earth's clear blue sky and open spaces made it an ideal landing spot, though the aliens still viewed it with terror. Ambassador Zivtal stepped out first, wearing what looked like a spacesuit. The transparent helmet showed his feathery crest flattened against his head in obvious anxiety. 5 other aliens followed, each wearing similar protective gear. Welcome to Earth, said Ethan, now officially promoted to Ambassador Reeves. He stood with Diane, Kevin, and Olivia, all dressed in formal diplomatic uniforms. The gravity is intense, said Zivtal, his slender legs trembling visibly, even with the suit's gravity compensators. And the oxygen levels are... How do you not burn from the inside? Diane smiled. Our bodies evolved to use oxygen efficiently. It's actually essential for our survival. The alien delegation moved slowly, every step cautious. When a butterfly fluttered past, one of the scientists screamed and fell over. It's harmless, Ethan assured them, helping the fallen alien up with a gentle touch. Just a butterfly. It eats flower nectar. On our worlds, flying creatures of that size would be apex predators, explained Zivtal. Everything here seems designed to kill. The tour of the human city proved challenging. The aliens needed frequent rest breaks, overwhelmed by Earth's environment, even through their protective suits. They viewed trees with suspicion and nearly fled in panic when they saw a squirrel. Back at Ethan's home for a cultural exchange dinner, true terror struck. His golden retriever, Scout, trotted into the room, tail wagging. Zivtal froze. What is that beast? He whispered. That's just Scout, my dog, Ethan explained, patting the friendly animal's head. He's a pet, completely harmless. That predator lives in your dwelling, voluntarily? Another alien asked in disbelief. He's domesticated. Humans have lived with dogs for thousands of years. They help us hunt, herd animals, and provide companionship. The idea that humans would form bonds with predators seemed to disturb the aliens even more than Earth's physical conditions. When Scout barked happily, 2 of the delegation cowered, behind furniture. Diane took charge of the cultural presentation, showing the aliens human art, music, and literature. They seemed particularly moved by classical music. Such beauty from such strength, commented one of the alien scientists. Your hands can crush our bones, yet they create these delicate sounds. Humans are complex, Diane said. We can be violent, yes, but we value peace, cooperation, and beauty, too. The aliens couldn't eat human food, but they watched with scientific interest as the humans enjoyed dinner. The concept of cooking with fire particularly fascinated them. You do. Harness combustion for enjoyment? Asked Zivtal. Kevin laughed. Wait until we show you fireworks. Later that evening, dark clouds gathered outside. The first rumble of thunder sent the entire alien delegation into panic. We're under attack, cried one. It's just a thunderstorm, Olivia explained. Common weather pattern here. Lightning, rain, wind. Your planet regularly bombards you with electrical discharges? Zivtal seemed horrified. And this is normal? As rain began to fall, the aliens watched in amazement. The concept of water freely falling from the sky was alien to them. When lightning flashed, illuminating the room in stark white light, they huddled together. The peaceful visit took an uncomfortable turn when protesters gathered outside the compound. About 50 humans stood with signs reading, "Earth for Humans," and "No Alien Influence." "Do not worry," Ethan assured the concerned aliens. "They're just afraid of the unknown. Most humans are excited about contact with your species." Zivtal studied the protesters thoughtfully. "Fear is universal, it seems. We fear your physical power. They fear our different appearance. Yet here we are, talking peacefully." That night, as the aliens rested in their specially prepared quarters, Zivtal requested a private meeting with Ethan. "I have been authorized to discuss something important," the alien ambassador said. "There is a reason the Confederation is so interested in Earth, despite our fear of Deathworlders. I thought it was just scientific curiosity," Ethan replied. Zivtal's crest flattened. "No, Ambassador Reeves. It is far more urgent than that. The galaxy is not as peaceful as we pretend. There are threats that our kind cannot face. Threats that perhaps only creatures forged on a death world could withstand." Ethan's expression grew serious. "What kind of threats?" "Tomorrow," promised Zivtal. "Tomorrow I will show you." 6 months later, the USS Venture approached the massive space station that served as headquarters for the Galactic Council. The station was a wonder of engineering, a spinning wheel nearly 20 miles across, with sections adapted for dozens of different species and atmospheric conditions. "Hard to believe we're actually here," said Olivia, standing beside Ethan on the bridge. Both now wore the formal blue uniforms of Earth's diplomatic corps. "Earth's first representatives to the Galactic Council," Ethan replied. "Not exactly what I planned when I joined the space program." After docking, they were escorted through wide corridors by a Galthori official. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved aside as the humans passed, some watching with obvious fear, others with unmistakable curiosity. "The council awaits you in the main chamber," their guide explained. "All 27 member species have gathered for this historic occasion." The chamber was enormous, with tiered seating arranged in a perfect circle. In the center stood a platform where speakers could address the assembly. Envoys from the many worlds of the Confederation filled the seats, creating a rainbow of colors, shapes, and sizes. Senior Counselor Pel Nara greeted them. "Ambassador Reeves, the Council welcomes Earth's delegation. Please address the assembly." Ethan walked to the center platform, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. He cleared his throat and began the speech he and Olivia had spent weeks preparing. "Esteemed representatives of the Galactic Council, I bring greetings from Earth. We come seeking friendship, knowledge, and peaceful cooperation between our worlds." His speech was well received, with polite applause from most delegations. But, as the formal proceedings continued, Ethan noticed something odd. Representatives from different species kept approaching him during breaks, each one seeming to hint at private alliances. "The McLaurin Alliance would value Earth's unique qualities," said one reptilian alien with glittering scales. "We control the richest mining systems in the sector. The Voss Directorate offers superior technology in exchange for human assistance," said another, this one appearing as a shimmering ball of light. During a recess, Ethan met with his team in their private chamber. "They're trying to recruit us," Ethan said. "Every faction wants humans on their side." "It's our physical capabilities," Diane explained. "Based on my conversations with their scientists, humans are approximately 3 times stronger than the next strongest species in the Council." Kevin nodded. "And that's just raw strength. Our endurance, reaction time, and resistance to environmental factors are off their charts." "We're being courted as potential warriors," Olivia said. "The McLaurin representative asked me how many soldiers Earth could provide in a theoretical conflict." Ethan frowned. "Earth won't become anyone's mercenary force. We need to make that clear." The next day, during formal negotiations about Earth's admission to the Council, tensions surfaced openly. The McLaurin delegation, led by Ambassador Krell, made their move. "While we welcome new species to the Council," Krell said, his tail swishing slowly, "we must question whether a Deathworld species can truly integrate with galactic society. Humans are physically powerful beyond reason. Their history shows an inclination toward violence. Their very biology is built for combat. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Ethan noticed how other species leaned away when humans walked past, how they flinched at sudden movements. Perhaps a probationary period suggested another representative, with limitations on human presence in certain sectors. Ethan stood to respond. Earth seeks friendship, not domination. We understand your concerns, but ask to be judged by our actions, not our biology. That evening, Olivia discovered something troubling in the council archives. She burst into Ethan's quarters holding a data tablet. I found references to another Deathworld species, she said breathlessly. They joined the council 5,000 years ago, but there's almost no information about them now. It's as if they've been erased from records. What happened to them? Ethan asked. I don't know, Olivia replied, but there are sealed files marked Xenocide Protocol. Something went very wrong. They were interrupted by a communication alert. On the screen appeared Ambassador Ziv Tal, looking unusually agitated. Ambassador Reeves, I must speak with you immediately. Your position in the council is in danger. The McLaurin are planning something drastic. Ethan's expression hardened. What kind of drastic? The kind, Ziv Tal said grimly, that could end with humanity being permanently banned from galactic society, or worse. The emergency meeting chamber was small by council standards, but it still felt enormous to the humans. Ethan sat across from Ambassador Krell of the McLaurin, whose reptilian features remained fixed in what might have been a smile or a threat display. The McLaurin Alliance formally challenges Earth's admission to the council, Krell said, his forked tongue flicking between sharp teeth. Under ancient law, we invoke the right of challenge. Ziv Tal's feathery crest rose in alarm. Ambassador Krell, this hasn't been done in over 2,000 cycles. Nevertheless, it is our right, Krell replied. If humans wish to join galactic society, they must prove they can control their natural tendencies. Ethan leaned forward. What exactly does this challenge involve? Senior Counselor Pelnara explained, a series of tests designed to assess a species' compatibility with council values. Physical trials, mental trials, tests of restraint and civility. And if we refuse? Diane asked. Then Earth's petition for membership is automatically rejected, said Krell, his tail twitching with satisfaction. And restrictions may be placed on human movement in council space. Ethan felt trapped. He wasn't authorized to make such a decision, alone, but communication with Earth would take days, and something told him the McLaurin had planned it this way. I accept the challenge, Ethan said firmly. On behalf of Earth. His team looked shocked. Olivia started to protest, but Ethan silenced her with a look. Excellent, said Krell, standing up. The trials begin tomorrow. Your entire team may participate. After the McLaurin left, Ethan's team confronted him. You can't be serious, said Kevin. We don't know what these trials involve. We had no choice, Ethan replied. If we refused, Earth would be isolated before we even joined the galactic community. Ziv Tal stayed behind to explain. The trials will test your physical abilities, mental control, diplomatic skills, and ethical decision-making. They are designed to demonstrate whether a species can integrate peacefully. And the McLaurin expect us to fail, Diane concluded. Perhaps, Ziv Tal admitted. But I believe humans may surprise them. The next morning, the human team was escorted to a special section of the station designed for the trials. Representatives from all council species gathered to watch from observation decks. The first challenge took place in a simulated environment with higher gravity than even Earth's. Ethan and his team were required to complete an obstacle course while McLaurin competitors did the same. Begin, announced the judge. The humans moved through the course with ease despite the crushing gravity. They climbed walls, swung across gaps, and lifted heavy objects while the McLaurin struggled visibly. When Ethan reached a section requiring him to lift a metal beam that blocked the path, he hoisted it easily, while his McLaurin competitor could barely move it. The alien audience watched in stunned silence. The second trial tested endurance. Participants had to remain in a chamber with slowly decreasing temperature. The McLaurin dropped out after 2 hours. The humans lasted 5 before the judges stopped the test, concerned for the other species still participating. Humans are built to withstand environmental extremes, Diane explained to the scientific observers. Our ancestors survived ice ages with minimal technology. By midday, the physical gap between humans and other species had been dramatically demonstrated. But during the third trial, disaster struck. An equipment malfunction caused a support beam to collapse in the testing arena. A McLaurin competitor was directly in its path. Without hesitation, Ethan dashed across the arena and pushed the alien to safety, taking a glancing blow to his shoulder in the process. Medical staff rushed in, expecting serious injuries. They were shocked to find Ethan already standing, rubbing his bruised shoulder. "Is everyone okay?" he asked, looking around for the McLaurin he had saved. The reptilian alien approached him slowly, eyes wide with confusion. "You protected me." "Why?" "We are competitors." "Because that's what humans do," Ethan said simply. "We protect others when we can." The audience erupted in discussion. Even Ambassador Krell seemed taken aback. The mental trials began that afternoon. While humans couldn't match some species in pure computational ability, they showed remarkable problem-solving skills and creativity. Diane particularly impressed the judges during the scientific challenges, devising a solution to a complex ecosystem problem that none of the other participants had considered. "Humans evolved to be adaptable," she explained. "When you live on a death world, you either solve problems quickly or you don't survive." As the day ended, Ethan met with his team to prepare for the final challenge scheduled for tomorrow. "We're doing well," Olivia reported. "I've been monitoring the judges. They're impressed by our physical abilities, but even more by our restraint." "What's the final challenge?" Kevin asked. Zivtal, who had joined them, looked grim. "The most difficult one. A crisis management scenario that will test not just your abilities but your character." The final day of trials began with a briefing in a large simulation chamber. Representatives from 12 species, including the human team, gathered to hear the instructions. "The final challenge tests your response to crisis," explained the chief judge, a floating crystalline being. "You will face a simulated emergency that threatens this station. How you respond will determine your species' compatibility with galactic society." The lights dimmed and the simulation began. The chamber transformed into a perfect replica of the station's central hub. Holographic aliens moved about their business, unaware of the danger to come. Suddenly alarms blared. The station shook violently. "Alert. Reactor core breach detected. Catastrophic failure imminent. Time to evacuation, 30 minutes. Panic erupted among the simulated aliens. The real competitors looked at each other, uncertain. "What should we do?" asked a Voss representative, their light form flickering anxiously. The McLaurin team immediately took charge, barking orders and organizing an evacuation of their own people first. Then the simulation changed unexpectedly. The room shook again, harder. The holographic display flickered and real warning lights began flashing. "This is not part of the simulation," said the chief judge, actual fear in their crystalline voice. "The station's primary reactor is experiencing a real containment failure." Ethan didn't hesitate. "Diane, Kevin, access the station schematics. Olivia, establish communication channels with all sections. Everyone else, begin evacuating non-essential personnel to ships." While other species froze in confusion or panic, the humans moved with practiced efficiency. "The evacuation will take 2 hours," reported a station engineer. "The reactor will go critical in 30 minutes. Then we stabilize the reactor," Ethan said. "Kevin, can you reach the control systems?" Kevin studied the schematics. "The main controls are fried. Someone needs to manually adjust the coolant flow from inside the reactor chamber itself." "The radiation levels are lethal," protested a Galthori technician. "What's the safe exposure time for your species?" Kevin asked. "There is none. Even 1 minute would cause severe cellular damage," Kevin calculated quickly. Humans can handle maybe 15 minutes before radiation sickness sets in. I can get in, make the adjustments, and get out. No, Ethan said firmly. I'll go. With respect, Ambassador, Kevin replied. You're needed to coordinate. I'm the engineer. This is my job. Before Ethan could argue further, the station shook, violently. Several support beams collapsed, injuring aliens in the evacuation path. Diane organized a rescue team while Olivia used the communication systems to direct evacuation efforts throughout the station. Her calm voice over the speakers prevented mass panic. Kevin made his way to the reactor control room, following directions from the station engineers. The closer he got, the more the other aliens fell back, unable to withstand the increasing radiation. The coolant system needs manual realignment, the chief engineer explained through the comm. But the radiation in that chamber... I'm already on my way, Kevin replied. He sealed his environmental suit, knowing it would offer minimal protection. Inside the reactor chamber, warning signs flashed everywhere. The radiation meters maxed out. Kevin worked quickly, manually adjusting valves and rerouting coolant flow. His hands blistered inside his gloves from the heat, but he continued. Meanwhile, Diane worked with alien scientists to stabilize the station's orbit, which had been affected by the reactor fluctuations. The gravitational calculations are beyond our computing speed, lamented one scientist. Then we do it the human way, Diane said, quickly sketching calculations on a tablet. Approximate and adjust. Throughout the station, Olivia coordinated rescue efforts. When aliens hesitated to enter damaged sections, she went in herself, showing them it was safe. Coolant flow stabilized, Kevin reported, his voice weak. Reactor temperature dropping. Get out of there now, Ethan ordered. Kevin stumbled from the reactor chamber, his skin already showing signs of radiation exposure. Medical teams rushed to help him. As the crisis subsided, the Galactic Council members watched in amazement. While they had frozen or fled, the humans had rushed toward danger. This is what Deathworlders do, Ethan explained to the stunned council representatives. On Earth, we face threats every day. Storms, earthquakes, predators. We don't run from danger. We've evolved to overcome it. Ambassador Krell approached, his usual arrogance gone. Your engineer risked his life for aliens he barely knows. Why? Ethan smiled tiredly. Because that's what makes us human. Not our strength or our resilience, but our willingness to use those gifts to protect others. As the station stabilized, a new respect for the humans spread through the alien representatives. Perhaps these Deathworlders weren't so terrifying after all. 3 days after the reactor crisis, Ethan stood in a quiet observation room, watching repair crews work on the damaged section of the station. Kevin was still in the medical bay recovering from radiation exposure. The doctors said he would make a full recovery, but it would take time. Ambassador Reeves, a soft voice said from behind him. Ethan turned to find Zivtal entering the room. The Galthori looked troubled, his feathery crest flat against his head. The council has completed their investigation of the reactor incident, Zivtal said. It was not an accident. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Sabotage? The McLaurin? No, Zivtal replied. Something more complex. Please come with me. There is someone you must meet. They traveled to a secure section of the station Ethan had never seen before. Guards of various species stood at attention, all wearing matching black uniforms with no council insignia. The room they entered was dimly lit. A single figure sat at a round table. At first glance, it looked almost human. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head with 2 eyes. But as Ethan got closer, he noticed subtle differences. The skin was too smooth, the eyes too large, the proportions just slightly wrong. Ambassador Reeves, the figure said in a melodic voice. I am Sentinel Valshan of the Vex Car. The Vex Car? Ethan repeated. I've never heard of your species. Few have, Valshan replied. We prefer it that way. Please sit. Ethan sat across from the alien, noticing how fluid its movements were, how alert its large eyes seemed. The Vexcar joined the Galactic Council 8,000 years ago, explained Zivtal. They are the only other Deathworld species ever admitted. Deathworld level 10, actually, Valshan added with what might have been pride. Our home planet makes Earth look like a vacation resort. Ethan leaned forward. You caused the reactor malfunction. Why? Valshan nodded, unashamed. We needed to see how humans would respond to a genuine crisis. Simulations can be manipulated. True character emerges only in real danger. You put thousands of lives at risk to test us? Ethan's voice rose in anger. The reactor was never in danger of actual meltdown, Valshan explained calmly. We maintained control throughout. The risk was minimal compared to the importance of confirming our theory about humans. What theory? Ethan demanded. Valshan's large eyes studied him carefully. That humans are like us. Adaptable. Resilient. Protective of others despite evolutionary pressure to be selfish. In short, warriors with conscience. Zivtal spoke up. The Vexkar have been watching Earth for centuries, Ambassador Reeves. They were waiting for humans to reach the stars. Why? Asked Ethan. Valshan stood and activated a holographic display. It showed the galaxy, but with dark areas spreading across several sectors. Because the galaxy is not as peaceful as the Council portrays, said the Vexkar. Beyond the borders of known space, there are threats the Council species cannot face. Predatory civilizations that view the Council races as prey. And you've been fighting them, Ethan said, understanding dawning. Alone. Valshan nodded. For thousands of years. We integrated with galactic society while hiding our true nature. We became the unseen guardians, fighting horrors the Council species could never withstand physically or psychologically. But now you need help, Ethan concluded. We are few, admitted Valshan. And the threats grow. When we detected Earth's transmissions decades ago, we recognized the potential. Another Deathworld species with the physical capability to fight, but also the moral compass to protect rather than dominate. Zivtal's crest rose slightly. The Council doesn't know the full truth, Ambassador Reeves. They believe the Vexkar are merely an eccentric, reclusive member species. If they knew what really exists beyond the borders, there would be panic, Valshan added. Most Council species evolved in safe environments. Their minds cannot process certain realities. Ethan sat back, overwhelmed. So what happens now? That depends on you, said Valshan. Humanity stands at a crossroads. You can join the Council as just another member species, or you can join us as defenders of a galaxy that doesn't even know it needs protection. This is too important for me to decide alone, Ethan said. I need to consult with Earth's leaders. Of course, Valshan agreed. But first, let me show you what we're truly facing. The Vexkar reached out and placed a small crystal on the table. These are records of our last encounter with the Harvesters. The hologram changed, showing images that made Ethan's blood run cold. 2 weeks later, Ethan stood before Earth's United Council, the planet's governing body created after first contact. The chamber was silent as he finished showing them the Vexkar's records. These Harvesters consume entire worlds, said President Garcia, her face pale. And the Galactic Council doesn't know about them? Only the Vexkar know the full truth, Ethan replied. They've been fighting this war for thousands of years, protecting species that don't even know they're in danger. And now they want our help, said General Allen. Because we're from a death world too. Ethan nodded. Our physical capabilities, combined with our technology, make us ideal allies. The Harvesters have never encountered humans before. We would be an unknown factor in their calculations. The debate lasted for days. Some leaders wanted nothing to do with this secret war. Others saw it as humanity's chance to prove their worth to the galaxy. In the end, they reached a decision. Earth would join the Galactic Council openly, while secretly forming an alliance with the Vexkar. Back at the Council station a month later, Earth was officially welcomed as the 28th member species. Ambassador Krell of the McLaurin had withdrawn his objections after the reactor incident, impressed by human courage and self-sacrifice. The human species has demonstrated their compatibility with Council values, announced Senior Counselor Pelnara. Despite their Deathworld origins, they have shown restraint, compassion, and a willingness to risk themselves for others. The Taysame formal ceremony was followed by a celebration. Ethan watched as Kevin, now recovered from radiation exposure, demonstrated Earth dances to curious aliens. Diane was deep in conversation with scientists from 3 different worlds, while Olivia helped translate for a group of new arrivals. "They accept us now," said Zivtal, approaching Ethan with a drink. "You've accomplished something remarkable." "Not everyone accepts us," Ethan replied, nodding toward Ambassador Krell, who watched the humans with lingering suspicion. "The Mech Lauren will come around," Zivtal assured him. "They respect strength and humans have proven theirs." Their conversation was interrupted by a subtle signal from Valshan across the room. It was time for the other meeting, the secret one. In a secure chamber deep within the station, human representatives met with the Vexcar High Command. Plans were made, training programs established. Earth would begin building special ships designed for combat against the Harvesters, disguised as exploration vessels. "The Harvesters grow bolder," explained Valshan. "Our last line of defense was nearly broken 3 months ago. With humans joining us, we can finally take the fight to them." When the meeting ended, Ethan felt the weight of 2 worlds on his shoulders: the public face of Earth's new ambassador, and the secret role as commander of humanity's first defense force. 6 months later, the first joint human Vexcar patrol ship launched from Earth's orbital shipyard. Named the Defender, it carried a crew of 40 humans and 20 Vexcar. Ethan stood on the bridge as its commander with Olivia, Kevin, and Diane as his senior officers. "Course plotted for the Outer Rim," reported Olivia. "Beyond Council space. Engine efficiency at 120% of projected output," added Kevin with pride. "Our modifications to the Vexcar design worked perfectly. All crew checked and ready," said Diane. "The humans and Vexicar are working well together." Ethan nodded, feeling both pride and apprehension. "Engage main drive. Let's see what's out there." As the Defender accelerated toward the edge of known space, a visitor arrived at Earth's embassy on the Council station. A young diplomat from the Galthori Confederation was being shown around by Zivtal. "And this will be your office," Zivtal explained. "Earth's environment is being simulated, for your comfort, though it's still heavier gravity than you're used to." The young diplomat looked nervous. "I've heard Earth is dangerous: storms, predators, diseases." "You'll have environmental protection," Zivtal assured him. "Though after a while, you might not need it. I've visited Earth 7 times now. It gets easier. Still a death world." The diplomat shuddered. "How do humans live in such conditions?" Olivia's replacement, a communications officer named Lisa, overheard as she passed by. She smiled and said the words that had become something of a motto for humans in space. "You call this a death world? That's adorable. Wait until you see what's out there." As the Defender vanished into the depths of space, humanity had found its place in the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as guardians of a galaxy that would never fully understand the dangers that lurked beyond the light of civilization.